Okay, good afternoon. Can you see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Voice is clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then. Shall I start? I think so.
Yes, ma'am.
Only 85, 89 are there. So please, students, log in with your ID number.
Okay, ma'am.
So everyone have done it. Who is this ID number 63? What is his name? 63. ID number 63.
Ma'am, Ganesh G, ma'am.
So last time you are not logging with your ID or
Yes,
whatever
ma'am.
your ID number?
63, ma'am.
63 it is?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, please log in because last time I was not
Yes.
able to see your number, whatever it
Yes.
is sent by your seer. But
Yes,
everyone
ma'am.
have logged in with their ID number. Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay.
So another, how many students? You have 94 strength. Where are the other 3 students? I think so 89, 6 students. Okay, then I will start. So in the last class, okay, I have just given you the brief introduction about so what you are going to study in the second course, that is insect ecology, principles of pest management and the natural enemies. Okay, I will start with the first topic, that is the economic importance of the insects. Please students, if you have any questions, it should not be only one side. Okay, because I also feel bored because only one side it is talking and also I'm not able to see you all. Please, if you have any questions, type it in the chat box so that it will be a two-way interaction. Okay. So the first topic you have is the economic importance of the insect. Okay. In the last class, I was just telling you that in this course is completely different compared to the first course. Okay. So here just I will tell you. So here, just you look into the field of entomology. Okay, so here you can see it can be classified into 2 major parts. Okay, so one part is the fundamental entomology. So that is the general entomology. And the second one is the applied entomology. So that means in the first course, you can see here, you try to understand the basic or the academic part of the science of entomology. So that means you are going to understand what is the insect in the first course. That is the fundamental part of the entomology. So you study the morphology, anatomy, physiology, and the taxonomy. So all this already have studied in the first course. And also here you can see what you study is gain the knowledge about what is entomology. Okay, so whether it may be an insect may be useful or it may be a harmful one. Okay, and here under the fundamental entomology, as I told you yesterday, the classification is mainly based on the structures or the morphological characters are taken into consideration for the classification, and based on that you have many orders you have studied. So that is the families. So this is what is fundamental entomology or the general entomology. So we are not dealing with the first part. So next here we have in the second course is the applied entomology, that is the economic entomology. So it is the application of the entomology to the field of science, or where you are going to apply the entomology that you are going to study in the economic entomology or the applied entomology. So we are not dealing with the first part, and I'll be just continuing with the second part. Okay, next here you can see so next here, that is the economic entomology. So that is you are going to deal with the usefulness of the science of entomology for the benefit of the mankind. Finally, whatever it is there, we are finding whether it is benefit to the human beings. Okay, so what is its application to the life of man? So that is what the applied entomology. So deals with the usefulness of science of entomology for the benefit of the mankind. So second here also you have is here mainly we are studying the insects. mainly with respect to the whether the insects are beneficial or whether the insects are harmful. Okay, mainly again in relation to the human beings. And here, mainly the classification of the insect is based on the usefulness to the man, whether they are harmful or whether they are useful to the man. So this is what you are going to study in the applied entomology or the economic entomology. So next here, I'll be just dealing here. Insects create the biological foundation for all the terrestrial ecosystem. So you know that everywhere, any place you go, you have the insect. Any crop you take, you have the insect. Go to your kitchen, you have the insects. Go to your bedroom, you have the insect. That is the mosquito. So everywhere you have the insects. So they are the part and parcel of our life. Okay. So here, that is what you can see here. The insects are very much important, especially when it comes to the terrestrial ecosystem. We know that insects are also there in the water, so which are playing an important role in the food cycle. Okay. So here you can see how these insects are helping the man. So what is the economic importance of these insects to the man? The first one you have is the recycling. So other parts are also there, but just here I'm just talking with you some of the points here. First here you have is the recycle of the nutrients. For example, after the death, so the dead body will be having where the nutrients will be very complex, where that cannot be taken by the plants. So what the insects will do, they convert the dead animal or the complex nutrient into the simpler form, and that will be added to the soil and which can be taken by the plants. So because they are highly nutritious, because some of the nutrients will be there that enrich the soil. So for example, again, next you take the pollen tree. Okay, it is a complex form that will be converted again by the scavengers. Okay, so that is what you can see here. The insects are playing an important role in the recycling of the nutrients. So it may be a plant part, it may be an animal body or anything that will be cleaned by the insect. Okay, so that is what they play important role in the recycle of the nutrients. So next you have is the pollination. So as you are aware, okay, so especially almost you take 80 to 85% of the crops, whatever we have, so they are cross-pollinated. Okay, so only few you take, you can just 20% of the plants are the self-pollinated. You take the food crops, you take the especially the fruits, okay, and also the oilseed crops, all are cross-pollinated. So that is what you can see here. The insects are doing or they are contributing much to the pollination of the plants. Second, you have is the dispersal of the seeds. Okay, you know that when they are feeding on the plant part or when they are moving, okay, so along with that, they carry the seeds. This part is also done by the birds also, but you can see here, the insects are also doing the job for the dispersal of the seed. And then you have is the maintain the soil structure and the fertility. So this is mainly by the recycling of the nutrients. Plus you can look into the some of the insects like the ants and the termite. So what they are doing, so whatever the termite mold you have, it is highly nutritious because they are mixing the saliva to the soil and they are constructing. So that is how, and also they're bringing the soil which is there to in the bottom and bringing to the upper surface. So they are turning the soil. So that is how you can see, especially the, whatever the insects we have in the soil, especially the ants and the termites. Okay, they maintain the soil structure and the fertility. And then you have is the control population of the other organism. Mainly it is predators and the parasitoids because we have many insects which are causing damage to our crop. So whether it may be field crop, whether a horticulture crop, or in storage, okay. So they can be managed by using the another insect which is doing the job of the predation or doing the job of the parasitism, okay. And then you have it provide a major food source for the other taxa. So that means, so here the insects are playing a very important role in the food chain, especially in the aquatic ecosystem. We have the dragonfly knight, which is there in the water, mayfly knight, okay, stonefly, okay, all these immature stages, what we have in the last courses you have studied, okay, the stonefly larvae or the immature is in the water, trichopterans, all the immature stages are in the water, but they are doing an important job for in the food cycle. Okay, so that is what you can see here. They provide a major food source for the other taxa. So these all are the some of the economic benefits that we are getting from the insect. So it may be whatever I have talked here, all are positive. As I told you, the negative part I'm not talking. It is mainly related to the pest. Okay. Next here, you can see here, insects are also used as a food. Okay. As I told, especially in the backward countries, and also if you take again in India, northeastern states, okay, mainly because they have the whatever the forest they have, and also the different crops they cannot grow. So mainly they are depending on the insects as a food, especially northeastern part of our country. Okay, and also other countries like if you just Thailand, all okay, mainly they are also using the, apart from others, they are also using the insects as a food. So here you can see not only the human beings are getting the benefit of the insect as a food, but you can see here that is the amphibians, okay, reptile, birds, okay. So many of them, they're mainly dependent on the insects as a food, okay. Some of you can see the frogs will be very active, okay. So during the night time, whenever there is the emergence of the termites and the ants, they will be heavily feeding on the termites and the ants. So that is how they are also causing the balance. Otherwise, the termite population will be more. Birds, they also feed on the insects. So that is what you can see here, not only to the mankind, for the other living organisms like the birds, reptiles, and the amphibians. Okay, so they are playing an important role in the food web. So that is, and also this is why I'm telling you here, the source of the protein, what you get it from the insect, it is very rich. Okay, the insects are very rich in source of the protein, plus you can see vitamins and the minerals, but the fat content, it is very less in the insect. Okay, that is the one advantage why you can just think of the eating the insects. Okay, next you have is the insects which are used in the medicines. Okay, so that is the blowfly larvae, yesterday I told you, and plus honeybees you can use for treating the, some of the diseases related to the human beings. Okay, so this is all just in brief. I have just shown you in 2 slides why the, how the insects are economic. Next, I will be moving on to the economic classification of the insects. Are you able to catch me, or whether I am fast?
No, ma'am, you can catch.
ಮಲ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀರೇನ್ರಿ? ಮಲ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ?
ಇಲ್ಲ ma'am.
ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ?
ಕೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್.
ಸ್ಪೀಡ್ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾ ಏನ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಐತೆ? or you can catch my whatever I am telling you.
ಇಲ್ಲ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್.
Is
ಕ್ಯಾಚ್
it okay?
ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಎಸ್ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್.
Okay then. So next coming, the first, that is the economic classification of the insect. So this is a very important classification, because when you look into, because always you know that you will be studying with mainly reference to your exam, scoring the marks. Okay. This is the one common exam question you'll be getting in your exam. Write the economic importance of the insects, or write the economic classification of the economic importance of the insect. Either they ask classification or the importance. Under such condition, this slide will help you a lot. Okay, so coming here, as I told you, in this course you are going to study the classification in a different way. So one is the insects possessing the economic importance, and other side you have is the insects which are not having the economic importance. So this is a broad classification of the insects. Just like in case of the last course, you have studied pterygota, pterygota. Again, in the pterygota, we have the exopterygota and the endopterygota. That was the classification. But here you can see the insects, okay, they are classified mainly based on the whether they are economic important or whether they are not economic important. So when they are not economic important, so we are not touching that part. So just I will give you the examples which are of no economic importance. So I will be touching the first part, that is the insect possessing the economic importance. So that can be classified into 3 subcategories. So here you can see the harmful or the destructive. So that is the first part. The second is the beneficial insect. So beneficial insects means you are getting some profit or something product from these insects. So that is why you are calling them as a beneficial insect. Helpful means they are helping us either by means of predating or by means of the parasitization or by feeding on the weeds or scavengers or the pollinators. So they are helping us. They are not giving anything indirectly, they are giving indirectly, they are helping. But here directly we are getting something from the insects. So that is the difference between the beneficial insects and the helpful insects. Coming to the first part, okay, I'll be just telling one by one. Okay, so this is the one you can just see the economic classification of the insects. Each part I'll be touching separately. First, moving on to the insects which are not having the economic importance. Okay, so this is the part where I will be just dealing. So as I told you here, we have many insects which are there in the ecosystem, whether it may be in the agriculture land or the forest ecosystem. In any ecosystem, we have the insects which are not causing any harm to the human beings or to the ecosystem. So they are there simply and they are not affecting any of the properties which belongs to the man. So they neither harm or they are not causing any benefit to us. So some of the examples here you can see. The columbullans you have studied in the last course, that is springtails, okay, which is a pterygotan insect and which we do not consider it as a true insect. Columbullans you have, proturans, okay, and plus you have is the other proturans. You know that it is the best example where the insect is not having an antenna. Next other example you have is the Plecoptera. It is a stonefly where the larva is in the water. Trichoptera, that is a caddish fly, again where the larva is in the water. Mecoptera, it is a scorpion fly. Okay, then you have is the Ephemeroptera, that is the mayfly. So you look into Plecoptera, Trichoptera, Mecoptera, and Ephemeroptera. All the immature stages you find in the water. And their main role is they are present, but they are doing the important job in the food web. And also they are the best indicator of the whether the water is polluted or not polluted. Because if the water is polluted, you will not find these insects. Okay, so they are present in the nature and they are not harming. So all these insects, any one of you can refer under the of insects which is not having the economic importance. So they are just present, neither harming or not benefiting. Okay, so that is what is the insects of not having any economic importance. So this part I will just stop it here because further you are not going to deal with these insects. Next part you have is the insects which are having an economic importance. Okay, so under this I had told you, so mainly we have is the pest category. So it may be agriculture part or it may be insects which are attacking the horticulture or storage, or you have the forest spaces. Okay, so that is the pest of the crops and the plants. So here, what are the major damage they cause when they are the pest of the crop, irrespective of the any of the ecosystem, whether it is agri, forest, horticulture. So what they are doing, so you find, so some of the insects, they cause the damage by both the way. Just by feeding also they are causing. That is a direct damage. So they directly eat on the plant part and they are causing the damage. Oviposition means, you know, it is an egg laying. So at the time of the egg laying also, they damage the plant part. So it is a one way of indirect damage to the plants. Okay. So here, the insects cause damage to the plants mainly by direct or indirect by feeding and also oviposition. So here I will give you the one example for this. Okay. One is the tea mosquito bug, so which we call it as scientifically as a Helopeltis antoni. So which is a pest, major pest on cashew and also in the guava ecosystem. So here you can see in this photograph, so this is a tea mosquito bug. Why it is called? Because it is very just like a mosquito. It is having a long legs and also the bug is small in size. So that is why it is a tea mosquito bug. So here you can see it causes the two damage. One is this you can see on the guava. So whenever you purchase a guava from the market, so you will be having these punctures. So these are only the black, whatever you find. So this is a place where the bugs have been feeding on the fruits and causing. So this is called as the feeding damage and it is a kaji bug. So whatever we call it as a kaji damage. In these two photographs, what you have in the center, so these are the eggs, where they mainly lay the egg into the tender shoot. So whenever the sprouts are coming, whenever it is a fresh shoots are coming, that portion is mainly preferred by these bugs. So the female lady or insert eggs into the the tender shoots. Okay, so because of that also you can see the drying of the plant. So this is the oviposition damage and this is the feeding damage. So one is direct and another is the indirect damage. So next damage you have is the some of the insects, they use the plant part for the construction of the nest. Okay, best example I can give you is the leaf cutter bee, Megachilidae. Last course you have studied, which is a Hymenoptera, and it is a leaf cutter bee. So what this female will do is, you can see here, mainly especially in the red gram and also in the rose ecosystem. So they select the leaf mainly based on the texture. It should not be hard, it should be tender. Many factors are there for selection of the leaf. So here you can see the female, she make this semicircular cut of the leaf, okay, and she will be carrying those leaves. And the two leaves you can see in this photograph, two leaves are used for making a compartment. Okay, so after making one compartment, the female will be laying the egg. So like that, so they will be using many of the leaf bits for construction of the nest. Okay, this is a common, you might have seen whenever if you keep the books, if you do not disturb for a long time, again you will be having these nest. Okay, so this is the one where you can see indirect damage. So what it is doing, it is cutting and it is regularly taking away the leaf part of your crop. So then photosynthesis area is affected. If it is a severe, defoliation will be there. So this is the one where some of the insects are using the plant for the construction of the nest. So this is the second type of the damage you can see from the insect. And the third you have is the transporting the pest species to the other host. Especially you can see here, this is a millibug. And last courses you have studied the home of terror. So it may be a aphids or it may be a millibug or any sucking insects. You can see here the ants are attending. You know that why ants are attending these sucking insect. Okay, so they give the that is the honeydew, which is sweet in nature. So the ants will come for these insects mainly for the collection of the honeydew. So during that time, so what they will do, they carry these insect pests from one crop to the another crop or from one field to the another, and that is how they will be spreading the insects, okay, which are the major pest of the crop. So that is the third way. So that is the transporting the pest species to the other crops. Okay, so ID number 69,
Gautami, off your mic. Gautami, off your mic.
Okay, here you can see this is the third type of the damage. If this is the case, because ants population will be more and they will be spreading the incidence in the field. And next type of the damage you have is you know that insects are also act as a vector for the plant diseases, just like they are causing diseases in human beings. For example, you take your mosquito. Okay, it is acting as a vector for many of the diseases. In the similar way, they are also acting as a vector for the plant diseases. Nearly 200 diseases of the plants, which are of major, I'm just telling. So they are transmitted by the insects. They carry the causal organism in the saliva. Sometimes there are different ways they are causing, especially through the mouth parts. Okay, they carry the causal organism. When they next eat or the next healthy plant, they will just transfer the whatever the virus or the bacteria. Many they are transmitting almost all bacteria, virus, okay, mycoplasma. Many of the diseases are transmitted by the insects. Okay, so here I have just given you the example of the rice. Okay, so this is a leaf hopper, rice virus. It is mainly transmitted by this leaf, that is the hopper, leaf hopper. So these are the way how direct and indirect the insects are causing to our crops, irrespective of whether it is a field or horticulture, anything. Okay, so next I will tell you, so what are the categories? Okay, so I have just told you the first thing under the pest of the crops in the plants, how the insects are damaging our crop, either direct or it may be indirect. Direct means by feeding. Indirect means by transmitting the diseases or transmitting the insect pest from one plant to the another plant, or they may be involved in and that is then carrying the leaf parts for the plant for the construction of the nest. So that is the nature of damage that is caused by the insect. Here, I will just give you the one or two examples under each group. So here, I will be just telling the branch that is agriculture entomology. When it is agriculture entomology, it includes the crops, okay, mainly related to the field crops. Okay, here I'm just trying to give you the one or two example. One is a cotton bollworm, because everyone you know about the cotton. Okay, agriculture entomology, I'm just giving you two example. One is in the cotton ecosystem, we have the bollworms. This is the one. In case of the rice, or you can look into the some of the maize, sorghum, all they have is the major pest as a borers. Okay, that is a rice stem borer. Here it is a rice I'm referring. So rice stem borer, maize stem borer, sorghum stem borer we have. Okay, so that are the example for the agriculture entomology. Under the horticulture, okay, so you have that is a brinjal. Okay, I'm just because only the common examples I'm taking. Okay, because the brinjal you are eating every day, or you are eating, everyone is eating the brinjal. Many times when you go for buying the brinjal, we look for only the healthy one, which is not having the holes or anything. So this is what happens when you bring the brinjal which is having a hole. It is a brinjal shoot and the fruit borer, because it damages the shoot and also it feeds on the fruit. So that is why it is a brinjal shoot and the fruit borer. Next, coming to the forest entomology. So here mainly we are dealing with the insects which are attacking the forest species. So I have just given many of the insects are there in the forest that is the forest ecosystem. That is, we have the scales, okay, soft scale, hard scale, aphids, many of them are there. But since it is an undisturbed ecosystem, natural control is there in the forest entomology. But somehow you can see here the stem borers, okay, they are the major pest in the perennial ecosystem, again in the forest entomology. So that comes under the forest entomology. So nearly 2 years back, especially near the Sirsi forest, there was a report, okay, so where the stem borer was causing a major havoc in the forest ecosystem, because in the forest ecosystem, we cannot go for the spraying. Okay, it is only the mechanical or the manual way we can control the insects in the forest. I've given you the stem borer for the forest entomology. So next here you have is the storage entomology. Why you must be knowing that why I'm dealing with the different particular discipline. It is the agriculture entomology, forest entomology, and the storage entomology. When it comes to the storage, mainly in this storage entomology, we are dealing with the insects which are attacking our storage grains. Okay, you know that when you just enter your kitchen, so you will be having many of the insects in the rice. Okay, in the floor, soji, everywhere you have the insects. So that is coming under the storage entomology. The cockroach is not coming under this. The cockroach is a household pest. But whatever the grains, food grains, if they are attacked by the insects, so all those come under the storage entomology. The common example I'm giving you is the pulse beetle. Mainly it prefers the red gram, cowpea and all. I think so everyone has seen this. Okay. So these are the three branches under the pest of the crops and the plants. That is the agriculture, forest and the storage entomology. So indirect, I will just go to another two branches are there under this. That is the pest of the human beings. So under that you have the two categories, household insects and also disease carrying insects. They are coming under the category of the pest of human beings. So that is the medical entomology. That is the disease causing insects. Everyone you know that mosquito. This is Aedes species. Okay, where you have the black and the white stripes on the leg and also on the abdomen. You can see here. Okay, that mainly transmit the dengue and malaria, many other diseases. Then you have is the housefly, that is the cholera and the typhoid. So this is coming under the medical entomology. That is the one which act as a carrier of the human diseases. Next category you have is the household insect. Okay, so they cause damage with whatever the material which is belonging to the human beings. Best example here is the termite. Okay, so especially it is a dead wood. So whatever the wood you have used for your window or for the door or even for the cupboard. Okay, so you will be having always the damage by the termite. Okay, so this is the one. And the cloth, if it is a wool or anything, if it is not treated, if you are not using it regularly, So that is also attacked by the another insect that we call it as a cloth moth. And this everyone it is a silverfish, mainly which prefers to feed on the starch content. Okay, and also whatever you have the gum and everything, so they will be feeding on that. So these categories, so these examples are coming under the household insect. So the medical entomology is different. So that means it includes the disease carrying insects. So here you have the household insects that cause any damage, any material which belongs to the human beings. So next category you have is the pest that cause the painful bite and inject venom. Many of them you might have experienced about this wasp and the bees. Okay, whenever you go near them, they have a sting at the end of the abdomen where the ovipositor has been modified, and it is a defense. Okay, that you find in case of the bees and wasps. And hairy caterpillar, I think so you might be knowing in the last course, we will be telling them don't catch these caterpillars, hairy caterpillars or the caterpillars having the hairs by your bare hand, because they emit the chemical which will cause the itching and some damage to our skin. So hairy caterpillar and bedbug, mainly that suck the blood. So the pest they cause the painful bite or they inject venom, they are coming under the third category. Next, most important we have is which is bothering to our farmers. If they are having some of the goat, sheep and all, okay, buffalo, cattle. So that is the veterinary entomology. Because as I told you, insect is not living any other living organ. All are damaged by the insects. So one that is category is the veterinary entomology. So mainly you have is the cattle loss. Just like what we have the head loss, the cattle are also having the loss which sucks the blood. And here you have is the horsefly. Okay, only the female is the blood sucker, only adult. So it will come and take the blood from the animals. So that is the example for the veterinary entomology. So this is the first part where I have covered harmful and the destructive. So that is the insect possessing the economic importance. So under that, I have covered you all these three subtopics. So that is the pest of the crops and the plant. You have the branches, agriculture, forest, and you have the storage. Under the pest of human beings, you have the medical entomology, where under this you have two categories. One is one which act as a causal or the carrier of the diseases and they spread the human diseases. And another you have is the household insect plus the insects which give us the painful bite and the sting. They all are coming under the pest of the human beings. And the third category I just discussed is the veterinary entomology. Mainly they are related to our domestic animals, even including your dogs, cats, and everyone. Okay, so they are having the sucking insects. Okay, so that all comes under the veterinary entomology. So with this, I will just complete the first part of the economic importance. So next, moving on to the center part, that is the beneficial insects. As I told you, you are going to get some product. So here only I just tell you. So productive insect, beneficial insects, you can see here, they are categorized into 5 types. Many types are there, only a broader classification I have taken here. So you can see here the productive insect. So that means we are not destroying the insects here. We are getting some product. That is why it is a productive insect. Insects as a food, we are eating it. Insects in the medicine, insects in scientific research, insects in the aesthetic value means some, I will tell you what are those things comes under this. Okay. So coming to the productive insect here. So I will just give you the example. So whenever it is the productive insect for everyone mind, so the common insect come is the honeybee. Okay, so that is the honeybee, we are getting the honey. Okay, so they are collecting the nectar, converting that nectar into honey, and we are indirectly getting the honey from the insect. So you know that the insects, these honeybees make their colony by using the wax. Again, wax is created by the honeybee itself. So they have the wax gland in the abdomen, in the fourth. Get a wax. Okay. So mainly we are going to get the honey and the wax from the bees. Other products are also there, but the important I'm telling here. So that way we are studying under the apiculture. So where you'll be having a separate post for the apiculture. So I am not touching this part. Next you have is the another common product what we are getting from the insect is the silk. Okay, here I am just quoting the example of the Bombyx mori. So where you are getting the silk. Okay, so that's the coming under the branch that is a sericulture, which is also a separate course you have. It is a 1+1. So these two I am not touching under this course, where I'll be just dealing detail with the lac insect, because you don't have a separate course for the lac insect. Under this course only, you'll be just telling how you cultivate the lac insect and all. So lac insect, from there we are going to get the shellac. Okay, so that is called as a lac culture. So these are the some of the example for the productive insect. So other examples under the productive insect is, that means in the previous whatever I told you in case of the honeybees or in case of the silkworm, so we are getting product. The second type you have is the product insect. So where you're damaging the insect itself. For example, useful substances. Here under this, I can just give you the example. So you'll come to know where what is the parts of the body contain the useful substance. So this is a cactus. Everyone you have seen, it is there in the nature. This cactus is attacked by one insect. You can see here, it is a cochineal insect. So this cochineal insect, it feeds on the cactus. It is an open shear. Okay. So here, these insects, you can collect when there is a complete growth. Okay. You can dry them and we are going to get a dye. So this is a red color dye or the crimson color dye we are going to get from the cochineal insect, which is edible. We can use it in the bakery products or whenever we are preparing the sweet for giving the color. Why you want to go for the synthetic one? Okay. And also you can use it for dyeing the cloth. Okay. So this is what the one example where the part of the body will be having some content. So that we are exploiting. Example you have is the cochineal insect. The next you have is the blister beetle. So you know that this beetle will secrete the cantharidin. Okay. So this cantharidin, it is very secreted in a less quantity. Okay. So from this blister beetle, we are going to prepare a hair oil. So that is a cantharidin hair oil, which is available in the market. And I don't know how it is helping us. Okay. So that is what you can see from the blister beetle. We are getting a cantharidin. From there, where we are using the preparing the hair oil. Okay. So next other examples you have is some of the galls. What is this gall? So what happens? So there are some insects. When they damage the plant, there is an extra growth because they secrete a chemical that induces the growth of the plant, extra growth of the plant, just like the cancerous cells. Okay. So here the product from the plant galls, which is caused by the insect. So here I'm just giving you the one example. We have the oak gall. So it is an Aleppo oak gall insect. So here you can see they're very tiny insects. Okay. So when they feed on the plant, so this mainly gall insect feeds on the leaf. So here you can see this is entire thing is a leaf. When this gall, especially the female, it make the injury for laying the egg. Okay, so during that time, what happens? There is a formation of a gall. So this is an extra growth. This is called as a gall. So when you cut open this gall, you can see the eggs will be the larva, pupa. All the life stages will be completed within this gall. Okay, so this gall is having a medicinal value. So this is what you get it in the market, and also it is very much commercially exploited. So that is, I will just tell you where it is exploited. So here you can see. Okay, so this is a oak gall powder. So from that we are going to get a tannic acid, which is used in the leather industry, and also it is used for extracting the ink. Okay, in the treasury we are using it because it is a permanent ink and it is not erasable. So that is what you can just get it from this oak gall insect. So one is it is used for the also for the drink they are using it. The powder is also available, and these dried galls are also available in the market. Okay, so this is how you can see here the productive insect. Either you are getting direct some product, or you may be damaged or collecting the insect. You may get the dye, Or you have here that feeding damage causes the galls. So from such galls also you can extract some of the product. Okay. So next here I'll be just dealing with the insects as a food. Okay. I'm just giving you an example. So that will be dealt in detail in a separate topic. Okay. The insects as a food. So here the termites are the major. Plus you can see here the grasshoppers. In outside Thailand and Malaysia and all other backward countries, if you see, they are mainly depending on these food insects and others. So here they have a separate market in the market for the insects, and also they have a separate restaurant for these insects. So here you can see this is a silkworm pupa, because after extracting the silk, whatever the pupa inside it is, we can eat it. So this is what you can see here. The silkworm pupae are eaten, grasshoppers are eaten, the termites are eaten. Okay. So this is what you can see. Give some of the examples insects as a food. It is a termite, okay, grasshoppers and the silkworm pupae. Next topic you have under that is the insects as a medicine. So that means we are using insects for treating the diseases. So here, before I told you, the honeybees, okay, it is mainly used for treating the joint pains, that is arthritis. So either we have the, just like the insulin, we have the injections are available, or directly what they are doing, that they will be maintaining the colonies, okay. They just take out the worker bee, wherever it has to be treated, they know that what up to what time they have to be allowed for stinging. You can see here that part they will allow for the stinging, so the venom will be released in that area. Only the experts will be doing this. So this is called as the epitherapy. And next here we have is the air what you get it from the beehive colony. It will relish our brain, okay, and that is what you can see here. Beehive air treatment is also going, because of in such lockdown situations totally we are becoming mad, okay. So for that also you can get the recreation. So in foreign countries they are doing it, not in India. And next here you have is the maggot therapy, that is a blowfly larvae. It can see here they are mainly used for treating the diseases, okay. So under the insects as a medicine, we are using the insects for treating the some of the human diseases, okay. And next category you have is the insects in scientific research. As I told you, always a common example you have is a Drosophila, okay, so which is a banana fly, okay. So this banana, that is a Drosophila melanogaster, mainly it is used in the cytogenetics for studying the heritability of the characters, okay. Category you have is the insects in the aesthetic value. Aesthetic value and the so it is mainly for the beautification or something you are using. Okay, I think so. Many of them you may be having this for your mobile. Okay, so whatever you have, because it looks better for your good looking for your mobile. So that is what you call as the aesthetic value. To the left side of mine, you can see it is the elytra of the that is the what it is. Can you identify this?
Jewel beetle.
The jewel beetles are the ornamental value. So where you can see for the beautification of the dress, they are using the elytra, but it is not from India. It is outside. Okay. So this is what we call it as the aesthetic value of the insect. Okay. All these are coming under the beneficial insect. Okay. The next category you have is the, in the center I have completed, that is a productive insects as a food, medicine, scientific research, and the aesthetic value. All are coming under the beneficial insect. Next category you have is the helpful insects, where they are helping human beings mainly by controlling insects as a predator, as a parasitoid, pollinators, weed killers, and its scavengers. For this also, I will just give you one or two examples. So coming to the example for the predator, okay, so everyone in the last course or you're just still collecting some of the insect, so that is a predator. So that means the insect, it is also insect, but feeding on the some of the insect pests which are causing damage to our crop. So those are called as the predator. And you know that when it is a predator, it needs more number of the individuals for the completion of the life cycle. Okay, sometimes only the larval stage may be feeding, and sometimes only adult may be feeding. Sometimes, so both the larva and the adult stage are feeding. Okay, so here I have given you the common example of the ladybird beetle. So where both the grubs and adults are feeding on the sucking insects like the aphids, mealybug. And praying mantis, it is also a general predator. Both nymph and adults are the fear, that is the predator. So for the predator, you can just give the example of the ladybird beetles or the praying mantids. So next category you have is the parasitoids. So what is the difference between the predator and the parasitoid is that the predator, it depends on this prey only for the purpose of the food, not for the shelter. Okay. And they need the more number of the individual for the completion of the life cycle. But in case of the parasitoids, what happens here? So the parasitoid means is a free living here, especially when it parasitoid means it is mainly referring to the insect, which is a parasite that we call it as a parasitoid. Parasitoid means it is applicable only to the insect which are doing the job of the parasite. Okay, so here you can see the adults are free living in case of the parasitoid, but immature stages, they are depending on the host for the purpose of the both the food and the shelter. Okay, so example you have is a Trichogrammachidae, which is an egg parasitoid. So it will lay its egg into the egg of the insect pest. So it completes all its life stages inside, and finally adult will come out. So here you have the Brachonidae. So this is a caterpillar. Okay, so where the parasitoid has laid the egg into the caterpillar, has fed down, and these are the cocoons what you are saying. Okay, so this is a parasitoid. That means they complete their life cycle on a single host. That is what the parasitoid, and it depends on the host, both food and the shelter, and adult is a free living. So that is the difference between the predator and the parasitoid. Next example I will give you is the pollinator. So for the pollinators, you know the examples like the honeybee, always it will come in your mind. And also you know that butterflies as adult, because mainly they go for the collection of the nectar during that time pollinating. Moths, especially are active during the evening time. So this is the one way you can see. It is also helping us during, some of the moths are also active during the night time, and also they are doing the job of the pollination. So I'm just giving honeybee, butterflies, and the moths are helping us for the pollination. And the next you have is the weed killer. Whenever there is a weed killer, for every is in NSS, I think so. If you are done, okay, it is mainly a Parthenium. Okay, every year in the month of August, okay, you have a Parthenium day. Okay, so because why we are selecting August, why it is a Parthenium in the month of the August is that, so it was during that time where these pillars, whatever you have the zygogramma, it was imported to India from the Mexico, and they were released for the control of the Parthenium. That is why that month, particular date we are celebrating as a Parthenium day. Okay, so best example you have is the Parthenium, which is controlled by the Zygogramma bicolorata. Both grubs and adults are feeding on they are the defoliators. They mainly feed on the leaf. If the leaf is completely defoliated, they also feed on the flower. Then another most common you have is the lantern. Everyone has seen the lantern. Everywhere it is there. Flowers are very beautiful. It was mainly imported to India mainly as an ornamental plant, but now it has become a weed in our country. So that is mainly controlled by the Telenomia scrupulosa, which is a bug, and it is coming under the lacewing bug. Okay, so it is a Telenomia scrupulosa. That is the example for the weed killer. Next you have is the scavengers. Okay, the best two examples I give is the ant. So everyone you know that ants are the best scavenger, or they are the best cleaners of the ecosystem. Okay, anything which is there in the ecosystem that will be carried. Okay, you can see ants is an example, and another is the dung beetle. If you are from the rural area, you might have seen this, and also you might have played with this dung roller. Okay, so this is the male which is there on the top, and this is the female. Always the role is made by the male. Okay, only the female will be assisting. Why they carry this dung? So after carrying this dung into their burrow, the female will lay the egg into this. So where the young ones develop by feeding on the dung, they go for preparation there, and finally you'll get the adult dung beetle. So that is what, because in our country we are using the dung for the different purpose, but in the foreign countries, if you look into the Australian other country, they are importing dung beetles from India mainly for cleaning the dung, because we ours is a rich diversity and we are having the different species of the scavengers of the dung. So that will be exported from India to the other countries. So that is why these are dung beetles are very important. So under the scavengers, we have the two examples, that is the dung beetle and the ants. The next you have is the another common example you have is the that is improving the fertility of the soil. Just now, I think so, starting only I told you the termites. Okay, so it is highly rich, and I think so if you are coming from some of the North Karnataka area, especially during the Nagra Panchami and also for preparing the Ganesha, we are using this soil from the termite mound. Uttadu mannu anta ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಲ್ವಾ. Why we are selecting this soil is mainly because the insect, it has mixed the saliva and it is having the good stickiness. Only for that purpose we are selecting this manure soil. We don't know what is the secret behind that, because it is mainly this purpose, because the soil is highly fertile. The insect has mixed its excreta plus saliva, and that is why it is having the stickiness, and you can easily make the snake and everything. So that is what you can see. It is highly fertile. Ants, they bring the soil which is there in the soil lower layer and bring it. So turning of the soil is done by the ants. So they improve the fertility of the soil. And then you have is the insects in the forensic entomology. I told you for detection of the crime. So you know that now in the police department, they have the separate as a forensic department. Okay, so where the insects are used for determining the crime. If there is any death or anything murder, so with the help of these insects, we can come to know when the death has occurred. Okay, everything. Okay, so that is what it is, forensic entomology. Mainly the scavenger insects are used in the forensic entomology. For example, you can look here the skin beetle. It feeds only dead skin. That means a dead body of the only the skin part is eaten. Blue bottle fly, it feeds only on the flesh. So there is a selection by the insects also. Always you have is the insect first which go and land onto the dead body, it is the fly. Okay, so based on the number of the cycles completed by the insects, they will identify the date or the time of the death. So that is what you study in the forensic entomology. Okay, mainly dipterans and the some of the lepidopterans like the scare, that is the cotton, that is a cloth moth, all are used for in the forensic entomology. And that is what the end of the economic classification. Okay, so please students, so this is a very important classification. Try to understand this classification. For each, only thing is you have to insert the examples there. Okay, so this is the broader economic classification of the insects. Okay, so where you are classifying the insects based on the economic important as a harmful, beneficial, and the helpful insects. Okay, I think so. With this, I will just stop it here. So if you have any doubt, I think so you can just ask me. Any doubts regarding to this today's class? ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆನಾ ನಾನು ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ ಅಂತ?
Yes, ma'am. ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತಿದೆ ma'am.
ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. Only Gavi Siddesha is talking. What about the others? I'm not getting any messages in the chat box. Huh? Any doubts with respect to the, because completely you are shifting from the fundamentals to the economic entomology. This is a complete different way how you will be dealing with the insects. Don't have any doubts? Now it is a lunch time. All are sleeping or what? Malkondidirenri. Matarshri, because I have not taken the first phone. Huh?
Class ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ.
Huh? Be loud.
ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ.
ಏನ್ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ. So be louder.
ಮ್ಯಾಮ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಕೇಳ್ತಿದ್ದೀವಿ.
ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ? You're not. Please students don't take it lightly. ನಿಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತು ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ. Okay?
ಹೌದು ಮ್ಯಾಮ್, ಸರಿ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್.
Okay, are you getting it? Why and what time? Because many times this is the asked question. Students will not write, even though I tell you in this manner also. So please always don't go on giving the definition of the predator, parasitoid, pollinators, weed killers when they ask you the classification. Your job is give the classification with the example here. Okay, don't do that mistake when they ask you or when I ask the same question for your exam. Only give this classification and insert only the examples wherever I have told you. Okay? Shall I close the class then?
Okay, ma'am. Attendance ತಗೊಳ್ಳ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್.
Gavi Sidesh ಅವರು ಕಳಿಸ್ತಾರೆ ನನಗೆ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ಶಾಟ್ ತಗೊಂಡು ಅದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ I think so whatever he has sent on Sunday I have entered it in the register. Okay? Because if I start taking the attendance it takes time. Okay? So only I have asked your CR to send me the screenshot. Okay? Any doubts? Any problem for taking the screenshot? Gavi Siddesha?
ಇಲ್ಲ ಮ್ಯಾಮ್, ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಏನಿಲ್ಲ.
ಏನಿಲ್ಲಪ್ಪ, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಟೈಮ್ ವೇಸ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತಂತ ಅಟೆಂಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಹೋದ್ರೆ.
ಹೌದು ಮ್ಯಾಮ್.
I can't see you. You will be in the offline mode. I can't see your photo and all. Okay, so that is why I am asking you for the screenshot. Okay, after this class, please students attend the classes, listen them. Okay, because I also know the difficulties. My son is attending the online classes since from 2 years. Okay, he is 7th standard. He has completed 6th and in the online, so 5th also online. I have seen the interaction very much in their classes. Okay, they have become more expert. Online expert agidare anta I think so you are not doing that. So they will be asking so many questions to the teachers. Because when I used to be in the house, I have seen how the kids will interact with the teacher. That I am not finding with the degree students. ಯಾಕೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೇನು ಡೌಟ್ಸ್ ಇರಲ್ವಾ? That interaction should be there, both the side. Okay, anyway, I will just close it.
No, ma'am.
Insects as medicine. Okay, here you are just asked for the doubt here because insects, for example, you take the epitherapy. Epitherapy means we are using the, because venom, whatever the venom, it is not only in case of the honeybees, some of the wasps are also exploited. Okay, some of the research is also going on where from the wasp and the bees we are taking the venom. Okay, and we are using for some treating some of the cancer diseases and some of the other diseases. But in India, what we are using the honeybees because the venom is mainly present in the sting, whatever the modified ovipositor is there. We can extract artificial also by giving some shock treatment. The bees will release the venom that we are collecting, just like the insulin. You can take the injection. But what here I explain is that whatever the venom, you can collect the bees, but more number of the sting is also dangerous. You might have heard about the death because of the attack of the honeybees, especially the rock bee. Okay, because we are not using the rock bee for treating the disease. Okay, only the mellifera and other we have is the serena in India. We are using it for the treatment. So that is what epitherapy, using of the bees and its product for treating the human disease, is called as the epitherapy. I think so you got it. Okay, got it. Shall I close the class now? Okay, students, take care. Bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay,
Bye, ma'am.